What's up, foodies? You know, everyone does the same thing with a chuck roast around the holidays, the classic pot roast. And there's nothing wrong with it, but I just think it can get a little boring. Same cut of beef, completely new direction. Still tender, full of flavor, but way more exciting on the table. Today we're making a dish that honestly stole my heart while I was traveling through Greece. It's called Youvetsi. I first came across this dish in Greece at a little taverna. It came out in a big clay dish, bubbling away with beef, Orzo, all in a cinnamon-infused tomato sauce. It's one of those dishes that don't look like much, but the flavor was amazing. It's a slow-cooked dish and it's perfect for when it's cold outside. Actually, this has become my new dish for Christmas Eve dinner. It's warm and gets you in the mood to spend the night to watch some great Christmas classics like Home Alone and Die Hard. So pour up some eggnog and let's get into it. I'm using a beef chuck. It's one of the best cuts of beef for a dish like this. Chuck has the right amount of fat and connective tissue, which means after a long, gentle simmer, it turns incredibly tender and the sauce picks up all that rich, beefy flavor. If you can't find a chuck roast, short ribs work beautifully here too. Their bones add even more flavor. And of course, blade roast, cross rib, or even brisket works in a pinch. Basically anything with some fat running through and can handle long cooking times. That's what makes this dish so good. And if beef is not your thing, chicken thighs work really well too. Cut 1.5 kilos or roughly 3 pounds of the chuck roast into 1.5 inch cubes. This is big enough to help hold the shape all the way through the simmer, but small enough to stay tender all the way through. Then season your beef on all sides with kosher salt. Now add a tablespoon of olive oil to a Dutch oven or a heavy bottom pot and sear the beef over medium-high heat. You want to work in batches so it browns properly. Take your time with this. This is the only part of the recipe where patience is needed, so don't rush it. That brown color is the Maillard reaction happening and it's got a lot of flavor to our dish. Once it's all browned, set it aside. Now in the same pot, add in 1 medium diced onion and let it cook for 5 to 7 minutes on medium heat. Don't worry if you get a little bit of color on it while sweating it out, it'll just add a bit more flavor. Then add in 5 minced garlic cloves and cook for another minute, just until you smell it. But being careful not to burn your garlic. Burning your garlic is going to give it a bitter taste. Next, add in 2 tablespoons of tomato paste and cook it out for about 2 minutes. This is going to get rid of that raw tomato taste. Sprinkle in 1 teaspoon of coriander and cook it for 1 to 2 minutes. Then pour in 3/4 of a cup or 175 milliliters of red wine and let it bubble up and reduce it by half while scraping up all those brown bits from the bottom of the pot. Once the wine is cooked down, add 3 cups or 700 mils of crushed tomatoes and 1 heaping tablespoon of honey. Then add in 1.5 liters or 6 cups of beef stock or chicken stock. Then toss in 4 to 5 sprigs of thyme, 2 cinnamon sticks, 1 whole clove if you like them, and 2 bay leaves. Then season with some salt and pepper. Now add the beef back in along with all its resting juices. Give it a stir and bring it to the boil. Then cover and simmer gently for about 1.5 to 2 hours. Now just before our beef is done, in a separate pan heat 3 tablespoons of olive oil and toss in 450 grams or roughly a pound of Orzo. Then toast for about 3 to 5 minutes or until lightly golden. Toasting the Orzo gives it a nutty flavor and keeps it from turning mushy later and is totally worth doing. After 1.5 to 2 hours, remove your beef from the oven. The beef should be almost fork tender. Make sure you don't cook it too far, it's going to finish cooking in the oven later with the Orzo. Now depending on the cut of meat you used, if you see a bit of fat floating on top, just skim off the excess with a spoon. No need to be perfect, a little on top is okay. Now you could toss the Orzo right into the pot and bake it as one. Simple, classic, and done. But if you want to make it look a little more fancy, I like transferring everything to a nice baking dish. Add half the beef and sauce first, spread the toasted Orzo evenly over the top, then pour the rest of the beef and sauce over it. This helps everything mix evenly. Then give it a quick stir to bring it together. I almost forgot. I need to adjust the seasoning before I mix in the Orzo. So I'm gonna do that now. You want to add just enough salt to be just a little bit more than you would add because the Orzo is going to absorb some of that and make it not as salty. And again, don't add too much because we can always adjust at the very end. Then cover with foil and bake in the oven at 375 degrees Fahrenheit or 190 degrees Celsius for 40 to 45 minutes. When it's done, pull it out and let it rest for 15 minutes. Then remove the cinnamon sticks and bay leaves and you're good to go. And if you put the clove in, make sure you dig that out too. It might be a little bit hard. You might be looking for a needle in a haystack there. Then dish it up into a bowl, top with some fresh thyme leaves, and there you go, Youvetsi. And like I said, it's become my new Christmas Eve dinner. It's simple, it's slow cooked, and full of flavor. And like I said before, it's become my new Christmas Eve dinner. If you end up making it, let me know how it turns out in the comments below. And if you want more recipes like this, you can grab a copy of my cookbook, the Food-Dee Odyssey, Totally Greek. It's full of dishes I fell in love with while working in Greek restaurants and traveling all through Greece. Everything from classic dishes to some personal favorites I picked up along the way. You can grab your copy in the description below. Also a great Christmas gift. If you like this video, give a thumbs up, a subscribe down below, and until next time, Food-Dee out.